Hello and welcome to watchandlearnphotoshop.com. In today's tip, I'm going to show you how to take a picture and convert it into an ink drawing. Now this effect works best with pictures of buildings, structures, things like that, but it also works with other things as well. Now if you have a picture like this that's kind of dark, you might want to brighten it up a little bit first. So to do that, first of all, let's go ahead and create a new layer. We don't want to mess with our original image. We want to leave that alone, mess with a copy of our image. So we're going to drag this layer 1 down to the new layer icon to create another copy of the same image on top of that first copy. Okay, now working with this new copy, what we're going to do is we're going to brighten this image up a little bit. So we'll go to Image, Adjustments, Brightness, Contrast. And we're just going to bring that brightness up just a little bit. And click on OK. Now what we want to do is we want to desaturate this. We want to take all the color out of it, and we do that going again to the Image menu, Adjustments, Hue Saturation. And on the Hue Saturation, the only slider you're going to mess with is the Saturation slider. We'll just bring that slider all the way to the left until you have a black and white picture. Click on OK. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to increase the contrast here a little bit to make the edges stand out more. So to do that, we'll go to Image, Adjustments once again, and once again we're going to go to the Brightness Contrast. Once we have that selected, we'll bring the contrast way up. And this is going to be different for whatever drawing you're using, so just bring that up until you can still see the edges, but they're nice and sharp, but don't bring it up so high that some of the edges disappear, like so. Let's bring this back down to about 75, and that looks pretty good. Click on OK. Now what we're going to do, we're going to make the edges stand out even more, and the way we're going to do that, we're going to go to Filter, Blur, Smart Blur. And with Smart Blur, what we're going to do is we're going to change mode from normal to edge only. And you'll see right away in our preview here that those edges are really going to stand out when we do that. So I'm going to click on OK. There we go. Okay, now we want the background to be white and the drawing itself to be black. So what we're going to do is we're going to invert this picture, and we do that by hitting Control-I. There we go. Now we have white as our background and our ink is black. And it already looks pretty good. One thing we want to do now is to blur the strokes a little bit. So we're going to go to Filter once again. We'll go to Blur. This time go to Gaussian Blur. And we're not going to blur this very much at all. Less than a pixel. I'm going to go down to 0.4, 0.5 pixels, somewhere around there, and click on OK. And there we go. If we want to use blue ink, all we need to do now is go to Image, Adjustments once again, Hue Saturation. We'll bring the saturation up a little bit so that blue will stand out, and then we'll drag this hue slider. First we need to click on Colorize. Be sure that Colorize is checked. Bring that saturation up, and drag that hue slider over until you find a nice blue color that you want to work with. There we go. Once you have that selected, click on OK, and there is your drawing. If you want it to look like it's on like blueprint paper, something like that, you can give it a soft, light bluish background. But if not, then you're pretty much done. So that's how you create a ink drawing using a photograph.